Hi, we're here today with Dan Teichman. He is Senior Product Marketing Manager from Sonus Networks. And we're going to talk about some of the topics that are really important today on the road to 5G. So first of all, Dan, what is your view for the status of the LTE market today? Let's start there.
Thanks. I would characterize the LTE market as a rapidly maturing market. On a global basis, LTE is the most significant segment of the mobile network operators' infrastructure investment. According to GSA, there's now almost 425 operators across 143 countries that have commercially launched LTE. So what's coming next? Obviously, it's the continued investment in the expansion of LTE coverage, and I think the densification of LTE with small cells and carrier aggregation. Beyond that, we'll be moving to machine-to-machine, device-to-device connectivity with IoT connected cars.
Great. Now, what about VoLTE, another hot topic today? It seems like as you look, I know in the U.S. there's a lot of progress with VoLTE. I'm in Europe, there's not as much progress with VoLTE. So how do you feel about the state of the VoLTE market?
So it's a much earlier portion of the market adoption cycle. I mean, we're certainly past the early adopter phase and into significant growth in some geographic regions, while in other geographies, as you mentioned, in Europe and certainly in Cal, we're still even trying to get into the early adopter phase. Again, to quote some numbers from GSA research, there's now 25 operators in 16 countries with commercial launch services. Having said that, though, there's over 100 operators who have told GSA that they're investing in early deployments, in trials, and expecting to launch by the end of this calendar year. So I clearly see us in a big ramp, and I think things are moving forward.
Okay, great. But do you think there are still challenges remaining for the operators that are trying to bring VoLTE to market?
Absolutely. From my experience, we see three key challenges: security, quality of experience, and scalability. So I'll touch on each of those real quickly. Security is not new with VoLTE. Mobile operators have always been concerned with that. What's different now, though, is this is an end-to-end IP from the mobile subscriber through the mobile core all the way through to the IMS for call and session control. So I think operators are looking for security solutions that will cover the access and the interconnection domain, as well as the signaling and the media they have to handle. From a quality of experience, subscribers generally have a tolerance to voice quality between 2G and 3G networks. But I think the industry has set the expectation, both mobile operators and vendors, that LTE and VoLTE are much better experience, and now they have to deliver on that experience. So especially making sure roaming works and handovers between VoLTE and non-VoLTE environments. And lastly, scalability, because VoLTE by nature is a high volume transaction service. And I think as those services are growing, mobile operators are going to want to know that they're making purchase decisions that can scale into the future. And I think one way they're going to do that is deploying solutions with network function virtualization.
Okay, great. And now let's look at 5G. So everyone's talking about 5G. We know it's still a bit away, but what do you think will be the primary drivers for operators to start making that leap to 5G?
Three things that I see are the need for more capacity and the ability to deliver much higher data rates, especially in dense urban environments, to an increasingly growing number of end devices, including the massive scale potentially of Internet of Things, and finally the dramatically reduced latency that's possible with real-time communications.
Okay, and then on the flip side, what do you think the biggest challenges will be for that move?
Again, I see three challenges. The first challenge will be how rapidly we have subscriber and IoT devices that are capable of 5G. I think that's going to take a while to get actually deployed. We've seen that with 4G and how long it took to get LTE-capable devices. I think if we move past that device support challenge, the next challenge would be how to manage the sheer number of 5G endpoints, which could be hundreds of millions even for a given operator if IoT is truly what everyone predicts it will be. And I think the third challenge would be the actual availability of high bandwidth pipes to handle all this new bandwidth demand from these endpoints and how quickly that can roll out.
Great. Well, thanks so much for spending time with us here today at RCR Wireless News.
You're welcome. Thanks.